I'm speaking with Nigel Lloyd, a consultant, and you're looking at this from the perspective of international issues. And for example, maybe we could give an idea of what is going on in Europe and how does this play into this situation?
Europe has a lot of parallels with Canada because you have a lot of different countries with different traditions and different languages all trying to work together so that there's free movement of people and free movement for education and for vocational qualifications. So you've got a lot of similarities and you have a lot of differences, so that in Europe we've done much better recently in the last 15, 20 years in developing frameworks that really bring it all together. And so this manual is so exciting because it's doing that in Canada and making it possible for the different types of practitioner, the advisors, the students, the educational providers, the professional regulators, to begin to work together in a coherent way in all the different jurisdictions. And I think that the things that have been developed in Europe and the things that have been practiced in Europe are very varied. They're developing as we speak. Some of them are very good, some of them have a long way to go, but I think there's a lot that can be learned and a lot that can be shared between Canada and Europe.
Now, given what you just said and with all this in mind, I would assume then part of this would be to possibly build links between the European continent and all over the world in Canada. Do you think that the manual and this process is going to play a part in developing some of those links?
I think there's absolutely no doubt about that. The manual provides a coherent framework, provides a shared language that the different people can speak to each other in with shared concepts, and it does share the concepts with what's being developed as European. There's quite a few different national backgrounds as well, national systems, some of which are better developed, some of which are completely in their infancy, some of which are misconceived, and which are gradually working together, learning from each other. So I see this as providing a way that people like myself, with one foot on one side of the Atlantic, one foot on the other, can act as a bridge and channel for communication between the two. And it's a very exciting time.
From a personal perspective then, a lot of people consider these kind of processes and things of this nature to be an exciting challenge. I mean, would that be fair to say?
I think that the whole of professional life is an exciting challenge, without a doubt. That it has been really quite frustrating as I have learnt in Canada how the jurisdictional boundaries mean that it's very difficult for people to take their profession, their occupation across boundaries, and that has seemed to me such a waste of resources, of human resource, particularly when you're dealing with immigrants coming in with unrecognized qualifications and being treated as if they were in short trousers and having to go back to school again. And so this provides a pathway for people like myself. I'm a civil engineer by origin. I'm now a specialist in professional development and training. That's quite a long way, and most careers, in my experience, change through long lives. And so it is important that we have things like RPL that help that transition rather than providing great big barriers that say, no, you can't go any further, that's it.
So do you get a sense then that someone sitting at home in, say, India, somewhere in Asia, France, Denmark, Germany, reads this, talks to someone who knows something about it and says, wonderful, this is just what I was looking for?
I think there's that, but I think there's also a need for outreach in order to have people who can be advisors and supporters and mentors who can help them to understand the documents, because in most cases these are new concepts. They're not things that people have done before in their lives. They don't have we did a project with Polish constructors, and they were working all over Europe. The Polish plumber is the archetypal traveling tradesman in Europe, and the Poles did not have any concept of PLA or RPL. And so we had to support them to understand what was being asked of them in order to demonstrate their professional competence within the new country. And there were language problems, but the conceptual problems even within their own language, they didn't have the concepts to go with it.
So it's early in the morning, but from the sounds, you're already chomping at the bit.
Very much wanting to apply the manual to the projects we're working on at the moment, not just in Canada, but also in Europe.
Well, thank you very much for talking with us, and good luck with the rest of the conference.
Thank you very much indeed. It's been a pleasure.